All right, we should be live across the internet now. Welcome, guys. Hey, guys, we're back. We're back from vacation. We've got an extra person in the studio tonight. We've got Bryan Roth on the show tonight, talking about the current state of geocaching and the craziness that's been going on. So that's our show tonight. You want to talk to Bryan? You can talk to him firsthand. You give us a call 808-468-7924, 808 got swag, and you can ask Bryan your own question. He wants to talk to you. You have it. You have his ear, so to speak, to say whatever you want to him. So you want to give Bryan a call, you can give him a call. But Chad, give me a quick sound check. I didn't even sound check you.
Testing 1 2 3. Hello, hello,
It
hello.
always starts out low. Jesse, give me a sound check real quick.
Testing, testing. 1 2 3.
All right, let me just check. Bryan, let me just quick. They're always louder. I'm gonna bring him down to a 75. There we go. Bryan, give me a sound check real quick.
Check, check. Hello.
There we go. All right, guys. If Bryan's too loud, let us know. I'll turn him down. But all right, here we go. Chad, you ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
You wanna know how to find it. Seek it out when they hide it. You know it's in the bag when it's an easy grab. Come on, take a chance now. So go, geocache, geocache. And if you need help, we're right there in a flash. If you got a question, just call in and ask. Uncover the stash on the Geocaching Podcast. The Geocaching Podcast.
Welcome, everyone. It's Wednesday. It's 8:30, which means we are back. And it's once again time for the Geocaching Podcast. My name's Scott Burks. We have short and it's manning the phones tonight, guys. And please welcome to my virtual left, my co-host, Chaz427.
Howdy, y'all. And what's up with geocaching?
We're going to find out, Chad, because tonight's episode 659, recorded live on March 31st, 2021, is the current state of geocaching. And we've got Bryan Roth with us to talk about it. Phone lines are open. Give us a call 808-468-7924. That is 808-GOT-SWAG. And for you international callers, you can call us free via the web at callinstudio.com/show/GCPC. But first, Chad. Chad, it's getting closer. The number's getting lower. I'm talking about Patreon.
We're about out.
I'm talking about Patreon new coins that are coming. We've got these beautiful coins coming, guys. Patreon coins. We've got normal coins too coming for everybody else, but the Patreon coins, if you want to be a patron, guys, this is a low numbered coin. I'm telling you, Chad, in a few weeks, I'm gonna be like, we're going. That's it. They're done. That's all.
Yep.
So, guys, two ways you can help us out. You can go to paypal.me. That's paypal.me/the Geocaching Podcast. Make a one-time donation, and it goes straight to the bells. Or Chad, you can become a patron of the show. Becoming a patron, you get extra audio, extra video, only available to our patron members. You get dirt cheap in our store, urbantreecanopy.com. Just put the Route 66 shirts are in there now, Chad. The Route 66 Adventure Labs
Awesome.
in the Urban Tree Canopy in the store. We also you also get patron only shows, and you get stickers, you get pad tags, and you get a geocoin. Chad, it's on its way. It's coming.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
Jazz Horse 89 from Chevrolet or Chevrolet? Is it Chevrolet? Jesse, you would know.
I'll say Chevrolet.
Chevrolet? Chad, you been to Maryland?
Probably.
I've been to Maryland many times.
I know you have.
Yeah. It's
Jesse's
East Coast, so it's probably a Chevrolet.
A Chevrolet?
I don't know where that is, though.
I don't know. Jazz Horse 98 lives there. And he knuckled up to the bar. Chad, platinum tier. He knuckled up to the bar and said, yes, I want that coin. So thanks a lot, buddy. We appreciate it very much. Enjoy all the extra goodness that's on the other side. That's over the paywall. He hopped over the paywall, Chad. Over the paywall. So yeah, guys, you can give anything you can. We'd appreciate it. You can go to patreon.com. That's patreon.com/the Geocaching Podcast.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Tonight's show is brought to you by Cachly. Cachly is an advanced geocaching app for iOS. It features powerful online and offline features, including filtered searches, offline maps, and offline saving of caches. Cachly has hundreds of advanced features that will make your geocaching experience just that much better. Get more info at cachly.com. That's CACHLY.com.
And tonight we're also sponsored by Logwork. Logwork are the creators of the fantastic logbook, made with genuine Write in the Rain paper. The logbook designed for the micro containers of the present and future, geared towards the hider who would rather go cache than do cache maintenance. Find them at logwork.com. That's LOGWERK.com.
It's also brought to you by FTF Geocacher Magazine. FTF Geocacher is the magazine for for geocachers written by geocachers. With 6 issues a year, FTF offers practical advice, hints and tips, cacher bios and milestones, geocaching events, trail tales, and all things geo-related. Find them at ftfgeocacher.com.
And by the Max Suds Body Company. Max Suds Body Company makes handmade bath and body products from all natural oils and butters. Items such as Poison Gone soap, itch spray, and 2-cent choices of bug spray are all great for outdoor enthusiasts like geocachers. At Max Suds Body, we have you covered from head to toe. Find them at maxsudsbody.com. That's MACSUDSBODY.com.
And by Practical Geocaching. Practical Geocaching sells utility items for geocaching. Our items are made in the USA, and we always provide free shipping. Find them at practicalgeocaching.com. That's PRACTICAL geocaching.com.
And by Arted Crafted. Arted Crafted creates unique geocaching themed tees and custom designs for you or your geocaching group. With adult sizes ranging from small to 5XL, if you have an idea for a shirt design and you cannot find it, you've come to the right place. Please give us the opportunity to show you how we can enhance your geocaching experience with your own custom design. Visit them at artedcrafted.com. That's ARTEDCRAFTED.com.
And finally, buy pattags.com. For all your swag and pat tag needs, visit our website to get creative help, to trade or log tags, or to purchase your own personalized pat tags. With over 42,000 tags to collect, pattags.com is everything you need to start your pat tag obsession. Visit them at pattags.com. That's PATHTAGS.com.
And as always, Chad, you can find links to our sponsors on our website or
in our show notes.
In our show notes. Chad.
Mm-hmm.
How are you, buddy? We're back.
I'm doing good.
Do I look tan?
You look tanner.
Does Jesse
I'm
look
not gonna say you look tan.
Jesse's nose was beat red on the trip, but it's not red anymore. It's peeled. Didn't it peel, Jess?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't stay tan very long. My
She's too
pasty,
beady white.
ghost white skin.
Guys, a couple of things that we're gonna get right to Brian here. First, the email contest. Jesse, you want to explain that real quick?
Yeah, sign up for our what do we call it? The
Geocaching pod blast.
The contest.
Thank you.
It's
Pod Blast.
final
I
week.
couldn't
It's
think of
next
that.
week.
Next week, in our April Cacher Coffee, which is 1 week from tonight, we
Spoiler
will
alert.
choose one lucky subscriber to win a prize, a very special prize, something possibly round, possibly shiny.
Possibly.
So if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to go to our Facebook page or go on geocachingpodcast.com and sign up for the Pod Blast.
Yes. And the travel bug race starts next week as well. No, it starts tomorrow. Excuse me. It starts tomorrow. The travel bug race starts tomorrow. The listener travel bug race starts tomorrow. And Chad, last I checked, Chad, did you see how many people are in it? There's like 66.
I haven't looked recently.
66.
66. Wow.
66 racers we got in it. How about that? Guys, there's still time. You could jump in anytime. You go to GC96, D as in dog, C as in Charlie, X as in X-ray. And you can just hop in anytime. It's a race till the end of the year, right? Is that what it is, right? To the end of the year, guy?
Yeah,
right?
to the end of the year.
End of the year. All right.
Is
Is Chad going silent? Chad's going silent.
I
Chad,
think
your
his
wife's
wife
using the
might be
microphone.
Am I?
cooking dinner.
Yeah. your wife's
No,
using the microphone.
I'm wired, so
All right, so that's all I got in the
it's not gonna
news.
bother me.
Let's bring him in. Brian. Hi, Brian Roth.
Hi, Scott.
How are you?
I'm doing relatively well, all things considered. I'm doing quite well, I guess.
Aside from his dog starts barking. So
My wife warned me that was going to happen. Pizza is being delivered for the family tonight. And
so
we've
Brian and I were talking offline before the show, and he couldn't believe it's been 2 years. He thought it was a year since the last time we showed, but no, it's been 2 years since he's been on this show. But
it's true.
I wanted to have him on earlier. We had an earlier date, but we had to reschedule because I wanted to talk to Brian. We've done the current state of geocaching before. We've done it for a patron-only show. We did a roundtable back in 2018. I thought to revisit it, especially now that we're sort of coming off of a really interesting year, not just for geocaching, but for the entire world, and something that's going in, all the things that are happening right now. So I'm going to start off. And this is going to be just a discussion, guys. You guys, if you're curious, you got a question for Brian, by all means, give us a call, 808-468-7924. Ask him yourself your question. He'd love to hear from you. Or just tell him thank you. So Brian, just let's talk about last year. Let's talk about last year, 2020, and how it was not just for geocaching, but for everybody. But how was it for geocaching? How was it for Groundspeak and Geocaching Inc. And what was it like for you guys? How were the decisions made that over there with everything that happened?
I mean, there's so many aspects of what happened in 2020 that, we're all familiar with most of them. I guess I could start by saying so Leap Day of last year, so February 29th, 2020, I was with 2 other lackeys in Bonn, Germany for the Beethoven mega event. And when we went there, there were some issues in Seattle. Just across Lake Washington was sort of the nursing home that had the first cases of COVID in the United States. Mm-hmm. So out here in Seattle, we were really aware of what was happening, but even at the time, it felt isolated. Well, we got to Germany, I think on the 24th, and it was a big event. There were a lot of geocachers there, a lot of reviewers there, including reviewers from Italy, northern Italy, which at the time was really kind of on lockdown. And we were thinking, okay, are we taking risks by being here? We didn't really think about it when we booked the trip and we got there. And all in all, nobody's wearing masks. There's no social distancing. It's sort of like this thing that everybody's thinking about kind of in the background. But we had dinners, we went caching, we did all these things, and we flew back on Monday, March 1st. On Wednesday, March 3rd, we were keenly aware of what was going on. And that morning, Amazon sent everybody home. Microsoft sent everybody home within, say, 24 hours of that. And we have a senior leadership meeting every Wednesday where all of the senior managers get together and we talk about, it's called a tactical meeting. We talk about whatever's important to talk about at the time. And we got into the room, and of course, the biggest topic was, what are we going to do? And in a very short amount of time, we said, we've got to send everybody home. We have to shut down, and let's see what happens. And so I sent an announcement over Slack to the whole company Wednesday, probably like 4:00, and said, hey, everybody, in light of what's happening, for everybody's safety, go home. We're closing the office. We expect it's going to last a couple of weeks, and let's see how we do. Of course, knowing what we know now, it seems almost funny that we said that, but we sent everybody home. And then it was a matter of, let's figure out how to work remotely. And for a company who's never really done that before, we had to transition, after 20 years of being sort of a company culture in the office, FaceTime, everybody's present, meeting together, eating together, all those things. It went to Zoom calls and Google Hangout and really much more reliance on Slack and things like that. Thanks, Zachary. One of the things that we said to the company, so we have an all-company meeting once a month. And in the first all-company meeting, at every company meeting, we start out where I will review the mission, vision, and values of the company, just so that we remind ourselves sort of what we're doing and what we're here for and what we're trying to accomplish. Inspire and enable adventure, exploration, and community is the mission. The vision is to make everyone an explorer and have an adventure at every location. That's how we define success. And then the strategy is to provide the tools for creation and sharing of experiences and adventures in the real world. Mm-hmm. And that's how we plan to achieve the mission. So we go through this sort of a triangle and a graphic that displays that, and I'll recite it and just remind everybody, especially the newcomers, this is what we're here for. We talk about the values with, authenticity and effectiveness and passion for what we do. And then normally I get a couple minutes just to say a few words that are normally, depending on what's relevant, we're going to talk about it. And so what I said to the company was, we don't know how long this is going to last. We're going to take it seriously. Priorities will be everybody's health and safety, including the lackeys and the geocaching community. So we're going to have to make a lot of decisions along the way. But our goal, when this is all said and done, is we want to be able to look back and be confident that we did the right thing. We did the right things by the community, by the lackeys. We basically prioritize the things that are truly important, and everything else we'll just work through. So here we are, over a year later, and it's going pretty well so far. All things considered, I would say we've had some challenges. We've had some things that we didn't anticipate. We are at the point now where we are looking at what does a return to work look like. I would say we don't have to go back to something where everybody is mandatory, like required in the office 100% of the time. I think everybody's kind of enjoyed the flexibility, myself included, to be able to work from home for a day or a bunch of days. And so just trying to find the balance between effectiveness and flexibility, and letting people, set them up to do their best work so that we can keep serving the community. I'm hoping to get people back in the Signal Cafe. It'll be probably a limited amount to start. And as things open up and as we, tackle this virus as a global society, I think that things will get back to a new normal. I don't expect the previous normal. I don't think anybody can realistically expect what we had before. But I'm looking forward to what that new normal looks like. I know, speaking for everybody at HQ, like we miss the events, like we miss getting to see people. Sure. like everybody. I haven't seen my family in New York in over a year.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm excited to try and to have those doors open back up. And when it comes to geocaching, the megas and gigas, like I know we miss those domestically and internationally. I think we're really looking forward to getting back to it. So we are actively discussing. I had probably 2.5 hours of different meetings today talking specifically about what does a return to work look like? What does our Geo Guide travel program look like? So for, I think we probably discussed it before, but for folks who don't know, all of the HQ employees, we have a program where we encourage people to engage with the game and truly become geocachers, because we feel that's the best way of serving the community, is to really understand and be part of the community and not just doing a job writing code or doing a job answering emails. Like it helps people care deeply about what it is that we're doing. And part of the GeoGuide program is, at certain levels, when you've done certain things, you earn the right to travel on behalf of the company as a lackey representative. So that's why at different megas, you'll see 1 or 2 lackeys or a team of lackeys. And we have GeoGuide program. And then we also have business travel, where for different business reasons, people will also travel to mega events or conferences and things like that. So for now, a little bit over a year, we haven't sent anybody anywhere. We're still on a travel lockdown, obviously for safety. We've said to the company, like, look, things are opening up. We're not ready to open up travel at HQ yet, because we want to make sure that it's both safe for the lackeys to travel, safe for the people that they will engage with and interact with. And the vaccines are coming online, certainly more so in the United States than they are in Europe. So we are hopeful that the distribution gets ramped up everywhere, so that the global society can kind of open up and have access to travel for mega events, even travel for pleasure, which sounds great also. So what we are looking at doing is looking at the program and saying, okay, when this opens up, what can we do in 2022 or even the balance of 2021?
Sure.
And one of the things that we're looking at is, we said, okay, we barely traveled at all in 2020. It's not likely we're going to do too much travel in 2021. So financially, we actually saved a bit of money, and we said, what are we going to do with that money? And the reason that we have this program is because we think it's really important for HQ employees to get the opportunity to engage with the community and attend these events and get to talk to people, and kind of, we're all members of the community, but to engage with effectively our customers and our fellow community members. And so what we're looking at is saying, look, let's not add that money to the bank account necessarily. Let's figure out, can we get all the lackeys out? Can we send them to all these different events and really do, as things open up, can we really open up travel and make sure that, all this time that we've missed everybody, let's try and swing the pendulum in the opposite direction and maybe get a little bit more interaction. So it's in the planning. We don't know when that's going to happen or how it's going to happen, but these are the kind of things that we've been thinking about. And then, on a global scale, like in a non-geocaching way, like we feel for people, entire industries have been really hit hard. People have lost their jobs. People have lost their lives, like hundreds of thousands of people worldwide. And it's, the enormity of that tragedy and impact to every family member who's lost somebody, to every friend who's lost somebody, it's not lost on any of us. And so one of the things that we've thought a lot about over the year, in particular, especially because, we have seen growth in geocaching during 2020. A lot of new people have come to this game because many traditional forms of recreation are not available. And
Right.
so, for all these people looking for an outlet, looking for something fun to do, thankfully, a lot of them found geocaching and were welcomed into this community with open arms by the geocachers, which is, it's really, really special to know that we are all the type of community where anybody is truly welcomed and actively welcomed. And so what we've talked about a lot at HQ is, thankfully, we're not one of the industries that has been hit so hard, but in the opposite way, we are one of the industries that has an opportunity to be part of something positive. We can help make people's lives better at a time where it's more desperately needed than ever. And so over the course of the year, it's been really important to focus on how can we serve the community? How can we welcome these new community members in? How can we do our very best work so that the positivity that geocaching can bring to people's lives is shared with all of these newcomers who really need it more so than ever. So it's been a crazy year. I mean, in so many ways for every single one of us. I know you guys included, but we've felt a tremendous sense of responsibility to serve the community, I'd say more so than ever. And we're looking forward to things returning to the new normal when we can hug our friends and shake hands and give high fives and have a beer at a mega. So that's a pretty long answer to what you're asking. But
All right, he literally answered every question I have. So good night, everybody. Thanks for
it's
coming.
been a pleasure.
I mean, he answered several of mine, except for I want to move him down a little bit further down the track. So it sounds like he had some positive impacts from the cancellations of the megas and giga events with the financial side of things. What kind of challenges did you also face? Because I can't imagine that there weren't any challenges with that in dealing with the groups that are trying to host the events. Because I know they had to have some financial challenges and stuff associated with the swag and things that they had already ordered and that kind of thing. So can you go into a little bit of that?
Sure. Well, our goal was to, we recognize that all of these megas and gigas that were negatively impacted, they didn't do anything wrong. They were sort of a victim of this, like everybody else. And so our goal was to do our best to support them and while at the same time doing our best to prioritize health and safety. So, we gave a whole lot of latitude to the local reviewers, the local community volunteers in general, figuring that they're on the ground, they're in these areas, they are able to look at, well, what I'll say is that it wasn't a case where we could just say, hey, let's implement this new rule for the whole world, because conditions were different worldwide. There were some areas that did remarkably well when it came to COVID. And for us to say, hey, the rest of the world is on lockdown, so you need to be on lockdown, it's not actually fair. And so we're really just trying to find that balance. And in in many ways, it was a moving target because the different phases and the conditions of COVID were changing time after time. So we really relied a lot on the community volunteers to say, how comfortable do you feel publishing caches? How comfortable do you feel publishing events? And I think it says something about the partnership that we have with the community volunteers that many of the decisions were really deferred to them because they're the local experts. They care about the game as much as anybody. And so we said, we don't have the ability to be physically present in all these countries, all these territories, each different state. So in the same way that you are giving your time to support the community, please help support the community by sort of shining a light on what is appropriate at this time and what might not be appropriate. And if you're not sure, let's err on the side of safety. Let's not create unnecessary risk, because we will get through this as a society. And the less negative impact we can create for the players, for the community volunteers, for the lackeys, for everyone in general, even for the muggles, we don't want to have a negative impact. So let's err on the side of being extra cautious. And speaking of challenges, like, we had a firsthand view of what they were dealing with because we had our 2020 celebration planned for August. And so we were looking at it, and, I believe that many of the decisions that we had to make are very similar to the decisions that they had to make. The considerations that we had as we said, okay, we're going to have to make a decision. We have a lot of people coming from all over the world who have travel plans and expectations. And, it's not fair to say, we were planning for mid-August. If we were like, hey, we're going to make a decision end of July, like, that doesn't work for people.
Sure.
And so we're thinking like, all right, well, if we make a decision too early and this thing really does go away, well, isn't that going to be a waste of time and resources and money that's already been spent and products that are on order and all of those things that you mentioned earlier. And so, what do? You make the best. Yeah, you make the best decision.
We were
can.
going.
Right.
We had plane tickets, and we
same here. I had plane tickets for both the 2020 and the 2021 one. And I have plane tickets for going caching in October. So fingers crossed. It feels kind of strange to me that the 20th anniversary celebrations are now effectively being postponed by 2 years. Does that feel kind of strange to you? That
you bet.
We're calling
bet. Are you going to have another
20th anniversary,
22nd, and then have another one 3 years later for the 25th, right?
Exactly.
Just combine them all, and 2023 meet in the middle.
It's funny because people have been saying, we've gotten feedback from folks saying, hey, if why don't you just wait till 2025? Like, does it make sense to have a 20th anniversary celebration in 2022? And, the answer so far is, yes. But right now we're having a little bit of trouble getting our venue booked because the Seattle Center where we were going to host this, they're not exactly prepared to, get locked into contracts for, 18 months from now or a little bit less at this point in time. So we've been saying like, hey, we'd really love to get this date or this date. And we're, of course, trying to coordinate with the Geo Woodstock folks because, isn't it so cool to like have bookend weekends? Like it was something we were all really looking forward to. And now we don't have the certainty. We don't know how it's going to play out. What I can tell you, and at least I think some people on the community team might be frustrated with me, but sure, we're thinking about what we do in 2025. I'd love to have another event in 2025. And so if it means 2022 we do something and then wait 3 years, that's no big deal. I mean, at one point we did it every year.
I was just going to say that. You used to do them every year. So yeah.
6 years. And I'm delighted that we don't do it every year, not because I don't want to see everybody in Seattle, but because it was so much work and so many resources really that went to kind of engaging and entertaining not the same group of people, but by and large, the same group of people who could afford to travel, who could afford to take the time off. And so what I'd much rather do is take those resources and allow us to go out as lackeys and meet the community where they're at. So go attend events. And of course, everybody loves the opportunity to travel. So it really creates this kind of win-win for the community, who many people may not ever be able to make it to Seattle. So we'd love to see them, on the trail or at an event in sort of their country or their state, province, etc. So, I think theoretically, if we got back to an every 5-year sort of thing, that would be awesome. But man, you never know when a COVID global pandemic is going to show up and kind of throw a monkey wrench in the plans.
So I'm going to ask you, which one was harder to cancel, 2020 or 2021?
2020 was harder.
2020 was harder
because for 2021, we went into this year knowing that we had to make a decision, and knowing that hundreds of thousands of people in the United States alone had been killed by COVID, and knowing that, thankfully, vaccines are being distributed. I mean, 100 million or 200 million doses within, 100 days of the new administration sounds great. When this first came out and they were saying it could be 18 months before we get a vaccine, we're thinking, wow, lockdown for 18 months that's a really scary prospect. Even a year is a scary prospect, but to know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, that we're getting closer now, is tremendous cause for optimism, longer term optimism, not immediate optimism, but certainly optimism. And going into this year, it was pretty much the same factors. We said one of the primary considerations, really, if not the primary consideration, aside from health and safety, was we want to give people a lot of advance notice. And we were talking about, maybe we wait until, late April or early May, and that still gives people a few.
Do. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But really, because there were so many people who had contingent plans, and we also recognize that the pace of vaccinations, the pace of sort of fighting against COVID is different in places other than the United States, even state to state. Certainly, we don't even need to get into that. But if you look at France, just entered a 3-week lockdown, as I think I read that today. Yeah. And so we didn't want to take the risk that we would schedule a party and have half the community not be able to attend.
Right.
So it really became an easier decision just to say, hey, we've postponed it once. Let's tell everybody before they go and really invest in the idea of traveling to Seattle in August. And especially knowing that a lot of people just wouldn't do it. They were going to say, hey, I'm not going to take the risk. It's exactly. Not safe enough. So I think it was easier for 2021. 2020, as I said, when we sent everybody home, I think the Slack message was like, hey, this may last for a couple of weeks. Like, we'll see how it goes. How little we knew back then.
Right.
Had we known it was going to last a year, I think, I don't know that we would have done anything differently, honestly, but it lasted more than a year. It's still going, we're still working remotely. So we'll see how it goes.
So, which I was surprised that you postponed 2021 so quickly, but I'm talking to my wife. We debated going. We're like, I don't know if I feel comfortable going.
Right.
Not so much the travel aspect of it, but the gathering together.
10,000
so
people from
right.
all over the world.
Right. And it was like I think the day or two after you announced that they announced a new vaccine on the market and ramping up. A higher ramping up and some other things as well, but you've got to play it with the information that you have, and even with the higher vaccination rate that we have now, I don't think we're going to be at the level that we really need to be by August.
Yeah, to go to Omega, it's
right.
We'll see. It's always but
I am hoping
it was a no. Which is a shame because I want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's a shame.
Right. And so to consider that there are folks like you who are passionate about the game, who like, hey, if we could do it, we're going to do our best to show up. But it's like everybody's contemplating like, hey, I'm not quite sure we're able to deliver some certainty and say, you don't have to worry about it this year. And
Right.
we'll see where we're at next year. Ideally,
yeah.
we can all go to Going Caching in October. I'd love to
Right.
go back. It's such a highlight for so many people. And I know, there's a Prague event planned in early September, and those guys have been so well organized and so considerate about how they view their event and what they can do with it and what they can't, and postponing it when it feels like it's necessary. And I know there's the New Zealand mega coming up in, I think it's November. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what the next few months will bring. But like we've said for other folks, can we err on the side of being extra cautious, because that is the most important thing.
Sure.
And so far, we've certainly done it at I dare say almost every opportunity. And I think we've seen the same thing from the community, responding for the most part, prioritizing health and safety. And that's what we want to see from this group of good people all around the world.
All right. I have one
So,
more.
and I think before we go on, I think the next mega that we go to, we'll have people, how cashers pile into cars and stuff. I think people will be holding up their vaccination cards.
Right.
Say, yes, I'm vaccinated. Okay, you
Yes,
can get in.
You can get in. Yeah.
Or their digital passports, or whatever, whatever we see for travel. And who knows what this is going to look like in the near term.
All right, Brian, I'm gonna get a little dark on you. All right.
All right, do it.
2020 for geocaching, was it a blessing or a curse?
I mean, it depends on how you look at it. And it was both. I mean, of course it was both. It was for geocaching in general, the blessing aspects of it are, hey, more people found out about geocaching.
A lot more people found out
a
about
lot
geocaching.
more. You bet. And here's it's funny. One of the things that we say at HQ, or maybe just I say it, but like, we're not in the business of selling cigarettes where we have to feel guilty that we're doing something bad for the world. In fact, it's in so many ways, it's the opposite. We believe that geocaching is good for people and it's good for the world in general. And having a global community of geocachers who transcend all the different boundaries of politics, economics, religion, social, having that kind of community is a good example for the world of how people can really get along and play together. So bringing more people into that community is a net positive for everybody. And that in so many ways, that is a blessing. For us as a company, the fact that we didn't have to go take a PPP loan and those loans could go to the businesses that really needed it. That's a blessing. The curse is the aspects where we have geocaching friends who were killed by COVID, or who suffered by COVID, or whose spouses or family members suffered through this thing. And, as part of a community of people who, I genuinely believe everybody cares about each other, that's a curse. That's a tragedy. That is and I think everybody experienced it, whether we're geocachers or not geocachers. So in that sense, as humans, it's a curse, it's a tragedy. But for geocaching, I think that there were certainly positives. You can't discount the positive aspects of it. So the real answer is both. I don't think you could choose one, really.
It was. I mean, Jesse and I would go to the woods, because that was really when you're on lockdown. All we did was you'd go to the woods because nobody was there. But turns out,
except they were.
There was a ton of people in the woods. We thought that would be the safest place to be. No, that was people. I mean, the packed.
I mean, it was interesting to see. All the different forms of recreation that allowed for some social distancing were really in high demand. Like, you still can't, I don't know about elsewhere, but in Seattle, you can't buy a bicycle. You can't buy, people can't buy boats. People can't buy, the vacation homes, the property values have skyrocketed.
Jeez.
Brian, blow-up pools went up 4 times the price. Blow-up pools were
the cost of lumber for building is up 40% in Seattle. It's absolutely staggering. And so you look at certain industries have been, why is the price of lumber so high? Well, because the demand is so high. And so, are they making more money? Are they producing less? I know some people who are in the logging industry. And when, the early days, when people were a little bit crazy and you couldn't buy toilet paper, these guys are like, we have to be out there doing our job because the world's out of toilet paper, or there's a run on toilet paper. And so you just see all these strange things that we never would have expected, but can't buy a bicycle. I had about a year and a half ago, I had my garage broken into and they stole my bicycle. Somebody stole my bicycle. And I was bummed because I had that bike for about 12 years. And this past year I was saying, oh, wouldn't it be nice to go for a bike ride? Nope. Unless I want to ride my kid's bike or my wife's bike, which she's happy to let me use, it's not an option. And so I think, it's not that big of a problem because we can go geocaching. One of the other positives was that people tuned into Adventure Lab a little bit. They said, all right, here's a way we don't have to pick up a geocache. We don't have to, you don't have to touch something or use hand sanitizer, which in many ways, I think there's so many ways and so much geocaching activity that was able to take place safely, thankfully. But to have another option to add to the overall ecosystem and to see it embraced in the way that it was really tremendous. I mean, let's
move on to Adventure Labs because that
was
I was segueing into that. That's what I was.
Before we do that, we got one more COVID item before we kind of close that circle out. So, any thoughts on having a post-COVID celebration, something like a year or so after officially getting it declared to be under control / defeated, or whenever that will be?
I mean, we're going to have the celebration event when this is done. Hopefully that's 2022. I think the other part, as I mentioned earlier, I would personally love to see every single lackey go to at least one mega event between now and the end of 2022. And in a way, like, we don't have to host the celebration, but we will participate in the celebration. And maybe there's something we can do. We still have the celebration events, people who are awarded the ability to have a celebration event. I've got one and I plan to use it. I planned to use it in New York when I went to visit my family and engage with the geocachers of Long Island, because I'm a geocacher of Long Island. And I still have that in my account. And I'm thinking, well, when can I get back to Long Island? Can I do this? And I think as things loosen up a little bit in terms of restrictions and it becomes safer to do those types of things, I think we're going to see a lot of that. In terms of one particular event, I don't know. Honestly, I haven't thought about it. And, we'll see what the community team comes up with. They're always paying attention. So if somebody has ideas, like, tweet it to our, Twitter account or post it on our Facebook site and we'll be aware of it, I'm sure. And we can think about what ideas might work and what we want to do and maybe what we don't want to do.
Okay.
So, Brian, I'm going to start this next conversation with, there's lucky people in this world, and then there's people who figure out a way to have geocaching when no one wants to touch anything, geocaching without having to touch anything. Adventure Labs could not have come at a more perfect time for you. I mean, talk about just luck of the draw. And incredible, like, it exploded. And Jesse, how many Adventure Labs did we get this year?
Oh my
now,
gosh!
are
more
these
than
now
traditionals?
Hundreds?
So,
yeah, I mean, hundreds.
Are these now officially relabeled
Are
as
these
adventures?
Are they just adventures now?
It's really funny. I believe that is the case, that they're adventures. We have a I'm trying to remember what it's called. It's like guidelines for what words we choose to use for specific things. And I believe that they are called adventures. And within adventures, the individual spots are called locations. That's how we refer to it. Oh, it's a style guide is what it's called. As companies get more sophisticated, I guess they have style guides. We certainly didn't have one 20 years ago. But nowadays, I think the style guide would say, yes, the individual are called adventures, and the platform is called Adventure Lab.
Okay, they are fantastic. Well done.
Definitely.
I love them. I really do.
Especially during this time. Oh my God, fantastic. So I'm going to ask you a question. You could lie to me if you want. It's okay. Did you guys put the gas pedal on this stuff when you saw COVID happening? Because suddenly, like, I remember I got an adventure lab my first adventure lab, I think in February of last year or March of last year. Did you guys go, okay, we got to start pumping these things out now because of what's going on? Or was it literally just luck? Was it literally just timing is everything?
I have a good answer for you on that question, and it's the truth. So I'll start with that. And for what it's worth, like, I don't have anything to hide. So you're going to get the truth anytime. But at the beginning of each year, and really at the end of each year, we set specific goals for the following year. They're called OKRs. It's objectives, and then measured with key results. It's some common business tool, and we've used it for a few years now. The Adventure Lab objective that I believe we set in probably mid-November of 2019. And I'll say this, we say objectives have to be aspirational yet achievable. And oftentimes the combination of aspirational yet achievable means it's aspirational, but we don't know if it's achievable, and we're going to try. We set a goal late 2019 when there were, I want to say we closed 2019 with about 700 adventures worldwide. And we said our goal for 2020 is to get to 20,000 adventures. Can we get to 20,000 adventures? And so what you saw over the course of 2020, actually, to be fair, the goal for the first goal was to get 10,000 adventures by the end of August
2020.
and of 2020. I want to say that we hit 10,000 in the last week of August. It was really close, and we weren't sure, because we can give out credits all day long, but some of the things that you saw, like, hey, you get this credit, but you have to place one by such and such a date. Sure. That was to incentivize, like, can we inspire people to go out and create these experiences to share with other people? Right. And can we do it at a pace that is repeatable? Do people like this enough? Is there enough demand for this type of product where we can, and if we had set a goal of 10,000 by the end of August and we got to, say 1,200, it would have, of course, felt like, wow, we really didn't get it. What have we learned? How do we need to think about this platform in a different way? Having hit it, we said, okay, it's 2020. The next logical goal is, let's see if we can finish the year with a total of 20,000. And we did. We finished with something north of 20,000. And at this point in time, wow, I want to say when I last checked, we're something north of 25,000 adventures worldwide, which is pretty cool. If I was looking at the map.
Wow.
I did a presentation for the University of Washington Business School. They have like an entrepreneurial program, and for the last couple of years, they've asked me just to address their class of entrepreneurs and just share sort of our journey. I'm no expert on any of this stuff, except I can tell you how we got to where we are now, because I was there and I've been along for the ride, and tell you about the decisions and some of the the strategies that we've chosen along the way. And I went to present to them and I said, okay, let me see how many adventures are on campus at the University of Washington. And there were 3. And I kind of knew that because I had already done them. And then I said, all right, where are some obscure places that I can look at and show people, like, hey, here are some other places, and show them a map view One of them was Cape Town, South Africa, which has a bunch of adventures. I think one of them, Amsterdam, my goodness, is like you can't even see the map because there's so many adventures. And I think Chile has a few adventures. And it was just so cool to see that this relationship that we have with the global community and putting these tools in the hands of people who have a desire to create something that they will share, some experience, some adventure, some some storyline that they want people to play through, that this isn't just a Seattle thing. It's not just a New York thing or elsewhere, that there are people all over the world who want to share these things. And so I look at it and I'm like, man, 25,000, like, okay, I'm not going to get to do every one of these, but I kind of want to. Like, I want to go, I see them on the Facebook groups and I'm like, man, I want to, how do I travel to Turkey to go do a James Bond adventure? Like, that sounds really cool. And then I don't remember, there's another one where it's like, you're getting messages from the future and you have to like save the world by plan. I don't know if anybody's done it out there. It's in the United States, but I was like, oh man, this wow. Look at what somebody built with this tool set. I have to say, like, it makes me proud of what we've put out there so far, but it makes me more proud of, like, this is just a taste of what this community is capable of doing. And so it puts a responsibility on us to say, let's not waste this. Let's make a better tool set. Let's give these creative people out there a bigger opportunity to create something even more special than what they're doing with this relatively rudimentary tool set. Locations, media, I used to call them triggers. Now they're called challenge types. So like the question and answer would be a challenge type. Now we just added a couple weeks ago, multiple choice as a challenge type. What else can we do with this platform that creators can do to tell their own story or to share their own location? And it's it's an exciting aspect of the game. It's an extension of geocaching. And it's also an opportunity for us to engage people who are sort of outside of the geo bubble and say, hey, you may not be into location-based entertainment yet, but try this out. And it's almost, I hate to use the phrase gateway drug, but I'm going to use it anyway. Not everybody is willing to like look around under a bush or under a park bench and maybe sometimes feel suspicious, but here's like, will people do a tour of their hometown and learn about the history of a place, or learn about, do an art tour at the University of Washington, go, explore the botany, like the giant sequoia that's in the University of Washington. People will do that. And as they learn to play these types of games, our hope is that they also discover geocaching and engage and become part of this broader community. And maybe they'll decide that they want to share their experience. So, if there's a kayaking group out there, maybe you want to do a kayak tour or a mountain bike group, or, I think we talked about this in the past, but an educator who wants to create a lesson plan that the kids can experience without having to sit in chairs in a classroom now with partitions and masks. Like, get them out on the play field and can we teach them in a way that's more interactive and more engaging? The potential of the platform itself, of geocaching certainly, but combined with Adventure Labs, is tremendous. And we wouldn't be doing our jobs well if we don't take that to where it needs to be. And that's a lot of work. We still, I would say we're still just getting started. There's so much to do, and there's so many opportunities to make this better and give the community more. Our intent and our goal is to make it happen. That's what we're trying to do. So hopefully it keeps going and it keeps getting better. I know that there's plans to work on things. If I said that, I spoke to the head, the product manager for the Adventure Lab team, and she was saying that there's a list of like 600 things that we want to do with the app, and No joke.
Wow.
And those are ideas that come from internal community, but also the broader geocaching community has said, can you make it do this? Or I want it to do this, or can we do a better job of onboarding new users, explaining what the app is about, explaining how to play. There's so many opportunities there. If you take a list that is that long, even if you prioritize it, the things that won't be done this year are still really important, and they're still really big. And so how do we optimize? How do we prioritize in the right way? How do we balance the needs of the community, the needs of geocachers, and the needs of the customers who will come tomorrow? It's that's kind of business. It's what we're working through, and thankfully we have a lot of really passionate people at HQ who are so excited about what it is that we're doing. And I'm sure everybody out there knows, like, if you are doing something that you are excited about,
Of course.
A, it's a hell of a lot more fun, but B, you're more likely to really get a good job done because you appreciate it, and the magnitude of just how important it is to do it the right way. So that's what we're working on, and I'm super excited, as you can probably tell.
And I have to ask, because I know I've already gotten one email about it, and I hear about it from my wife all the time. When is the geocaching app going to include Adventure Labs?
Okay, here's what I'll say: is I thought that we would have it by the end of last year.
Yes, you did.
I really did, and I've said that publicly. And I'll always be transparent about what I'm thinking and what I believe we're going to do. What I didn't realize was that we had a massive project on the mobile side, on the geocaching core app, to refactor the way that mapping is done in the app. And I would say, for those of you who are using the geocaching iOS and Android apps, you will see some really positive changes in the next week or two, just in terms of the performance of that map. I believe it's being released this week. You may or may not notice, but under the hood, it's been a tremendous project, and I know we're almost done with it. And I do believe it's shipping this week. So forgive me if I'm wrong, but again, I believe that's the case. The project that we call Dots on the Map is an interesting one. What we are going to do, and I'm going to explain this because I know that there's a concept of, there's some questions about how we are implementing it. So the way that the project, we call it Dots on the Map for short, the way that Dots on the Map are going to work is within the geocaching map, on iOS and Android, premium members to begin will see they'll see the main point for Adventure Labs. Like if you look at the Adventure Lab map in the Adventure Lab app, you see one individual point for each adventure.
Of course.
You will see those as premium members. You will be able to see those as dots on the geocaching map. And hopefully I'm not spoiling it, but really it's within the next 2 weeks.
Oh,
it's coming.
Nice.
It is coming very soon.
All right. One more question. That's fantastic. Is the API going to be available to the developers, to Cashly and all those guys? Are they going to be able to?
Absolutely.
Oh.
You bet. So here's what I would say is it will, it's not available just yet, but it will be available very soon. Our goal is to allow Nick Hubbard, and believe me, we're having conversations with all of them already, and they know it's coming. They will be able to do a very similar implementation of Dots on the Map. So I'll tell you, Dots on the Map is that, and what you will see when you click on one of those adventures in the geocaching app, for example, you'll see the little tray icon that shows up when you click on any other geocaches. And instead of showing you like difficulty and terrain, it will show you the number of stages, I think the average rating. I don't remember exactly what else, but when you click on that, you'll basically be told, hey, you're going to another app. If you don't have the other app, it's going to take you to the App Store where you can download it. If you do have the Adventure Lab app, then it will deep link into that specific adventure.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
And you'll be able to play it.
I'm okay with that. Absolutely.
Me too. I'm super excited about it. And I can tell you, I already have it on my phone, and I love
Okay.
it.
Oh, boo. Really?
So I I will tell you that what it doesn't do, and this is something that has been a big dialogue at HQ and a dialogue with others who have had the opportunity to test it, is we have heard from geocachers, hey, don't just show me the main dot. Show me all of the locations for all of the adventures on the map. We know why, because I want to plan the optimal route. I want to get as many of these as I can. I want to do 4 of them at the same time, for example.
Or sometimes there's cross locations between the different adventures, and I know I've experienced that in the past, and it's like, we were just there 20 minutes ago when you're switching to the new adventure, but you can for GSAC users, you can always pull down the coordinates in a GPX and for all the adventure labs and throw them in your phone. That's the way I go about it. There are ways to do it still.
We did
there are ways to do it, and people are doing it. They're adding it to their GPS for navigation, and we know that they're doing that. The reason that we're not doing it is twofold. The primary reason that we don't do it in the Adventure Lab app, and we don't have any near-term plans to do it in the geocaching app, and I'm deliberately saying near-term because I'll get into that with the second one. But the first one is we have given these tools to creators to create the type of experience that they want people to play, and we are trying to honor the narrative of the creator. So if it's a story-driven adventure, we want it done that way. If it's an art tour, we don't want the art tour mixed with a botany tour or something like that. The key phrase is we're really trying to honor the narrative of the creator. And so in the app, you play one at a time. I said I did the 3 adventures at the University of Washington. I walked around the University of Washington 3 times, got a lot of extra exercise and steps, but even during that adventure, the conversation we were having is, hey, this feels important to us to honor the narrative. The second part that I think is equally as important is we want to preserve the opportunity to innovate with Adventure Lab in ways that might be inconsistent with showing all of the dots on the map. So in other words, what if there are locations that are virtual or projected or shouldn't be known? And those are just a couple of examples. What if there are forking experiences? So you have to choose an adventure, for example, where you have 2 roads diverge in a wood, and you have to choose the one that you will travel, and that affects the outcome of the adventure. We haven't built these aspects yet, but if we start putting all the dots for an adventure on the geocaching map, then any innovation we do gets constrained or hamstrung or more difficult to do because we've already committed to that paradigm. So I wouldn't say we won't do it forever, but I would say we have no near-term plans to do it because we want to honor the narrative and we want to preserve the opportunity space for innovation within Adventure Lab.
That makes sense.
And then what's your feelings and thoughts and anything else you guys have planned? We could have never expected, Lincoln Highway, Route 66, all these, huge adventure labs that are taking off. Anything else in the works or plans for that? I mean, obviously you could never have expected that to happen and just explode.
I certainly did not expect that to happen, as something that people would do with it. But we've been doing this for 20 years. The one thing that we do expect is that when you put a creative platform in the hands of the geocaching community, they're going to show you all the things that they can do with it. And I think we're scratching the surface. Again, as this tool set advances and gets more enhanced, I think we're going to see even more creativity and what people can bring to the overall platform and the ecosystem. When I see the Route 66 as people going out, and it's coming about pretty quickly, like
Quick, yeah.
surprisingly
Gosh, it's
fast.
so fast.
Yeah.
So fast. I mean, it's fantastic. Like, it's so cool to see that type of innovation with the platform, with the same tools that we're giving to everybody else. Somebody has an idea and they're running with it, and it's brilliant. I mean, it's really fantastic. And the cool part is it's going to bring a lot of joy to a lot of players. You know, how many people are going to go and say, let's try and do the Route 66, you know, highway or whatever we're calling, you know, the adventure series. That is a lot of work. That's a lot of travel. But just like the ET highway, you know, for some people, they would say, oh, I'm not going and doing, you know, 2,000 plus caches every 10th of a mile. But for other people, you know, that's one of the greatest adventures that they've ever done in their lives. So how do we provide these opportunities to give people these types of experiences that they can embrace and love and celebrate? Well, it's really a good start to focus on building a platform that is flexible and putting it in the hands of creative people, because then you really get to see what happens with it. So it's super exciting.
So with the new features that you're adding in as we move forward, are you going to have some development guides or things like that? Maybe some videos on ideas on how to utilize them?
We probably should. Whether or not we're going to do it is another story. You know, we're, as a company, look, we are far from perfect. But what I will say is we don't necessarily have to make those videos, as much as it would be nice to have the team and resources to do it. If you look around the community, there's a lot of those videos. A lot of the vloggers have created these videos that are tutorials that, great, you know, they can build their own, you know, their own place in this community by doing that job. You know, we don't have to, as a company, we don't have to do everything to serve the community. Right. And that's part of the beauty of geocaching. Like, this is an ecosystem. One of the things that we say in our what is it called? It's like a geocaching vision statement, like an internal document that talks about how we see things and how we participate. And maybe I've shared this with you before, but we will always say we don't own the game of geocaching. Nobody owns geocaching, like nobody owns baseball. There can be a major league, there can be a geocaching HQ, there can be a geocaching podcast, there can be the geocaching vlogger. You know, all of these different pieces and components of this community are what make it special. And so, you know, the role that you folks play, you know, 600 and something shows in, like, we don't have to go do this, because there's plenty of folks out there that are willing to build a business or give their time or go create something that becomes a special part of the community. The path tags folks, for example, you know, we didn't do it. We've got trackables. Path tags are really cool and people are really passionate about it. They're welcome to participate in that same way. All the different shops that are out there that are making their own coins or making their own cash containers and selling them, everybody is participating in this community in different ways. And so for us, you know, it's one of the points of the API program, for example, is we know that we can't build an app that's going to do everything that everybody possibly wants to do. So there's the Cachleys, there's the Geo Lives, there's all of these other applications that are built. And one of the things that we talk about, or that I talk about when I work with the entrepreneur group, when I do my annual presentation with them, is I say one of the things that we learned to do was to share. We don't have to do everything. We can build an API and make it available to developers. We can say to the community, hey, if you like our logo and you want to make shirts for yourselves and your family, go do it. If you want to sell them, well, then we'll give you a license to go sell them. So by being generous with the community and giving other people the tools and our time and things like that, and access to the resources that we put together, we can allow people to contribute to the community in ways that we couldn't possibly do. And in a lot of ways, that just makes for a more robust community. It gives people more outlets to engage and to experience the beauty that geocaching has to offer. And we don't have to do everything. It would never make sense for us to do everything. We're going to try and play our role the best that we can, and trust that you guys are going to do the same for your role, which is really cool.
Well, I noticed an email yesterday we got from you guys. I think Adventure Labs now have a souvenir. Is that what it is? Did I read that correctly?
Adventure Labs have a souvenir.
Is that what it was?
Funny that I don't know if that's correct or not.
Did I read that correctly? Like something's going on with Adventure Labs.
Something is going. Well, one of the things that we did was we just launched a new leaderboard challenge called the Science of Discovery.
Maybe that's what
That's what it is.
I have to say there's a lot of aspects of this leaderboard challenge that I really like, but the art on it is just so cool. We when it came out, we were like, can I get a poster of that? Like, can I do something with that? And we're going to talk to the merch guys and see if they'll put something together. But the Art of Discovery is a leaderboard challenge.
Right.
One of the things that we did was we added point values for Adventure Lab caches. So I think for each one you get a certain amount of points. And part of it, I can tell you that part of our strategy for 2021 is not to see how many Adventure Labs we can get created, or adventures, if I'm following the style guide properly. I'm not sure that I am. It's not about how many we can get created. We certainly want more of them, because more of them is more opportunity for people to engage and play. But it's really, how can we, historically, we never publicized the fact that we had an Adventure Lab platform. Like, you found out about it if you were in the know or if somebody told you. And so what we will be doing is telling more people about it. And part of that is creating this promotion that allows people to, you don't have to play Adventure Labs to complete the leaderboard challenge, but it's an easy way to do that. And hopefully more people will find out about Adventure Lab and come play. And I know we'll be doing some marketing through our marketing team, just telling people, like, by the way, you may not have known, but this thing exists and it's free to play. And at least for now, if you are a premium member and you want to create one, you'll get to create one. Just fill out the form. It's in the app and you can get a credit. So that's sort of what we're trying to do in the near term. For the leaderboard challenge, you will get souvenirs. But I don't know if we have souvenirs specifically for completing adventures yet.
Like, I read it pretty quick. Maybe that totally could have been
cool. One of the other things that was in the newsletter, I don't know if you folks saw it. I thought it was really pretty cool. Is that Richard Garriott, Lord British, who's the guy that placed the ISS cache. Him and another explorer named Michael Dubno, who's another former video game developer. They took a submarine earlier this month. I guess I only get to say that today because it's March and it was like March 1st. They went down to the deepest part of the ocean. It's called Challenger Deep. It's part of the Marianas Trench. And it's an earth cache. It is 36,000 feet underwater. And it's fascinating. And so it's an interesting earth cache. We work with the Geological Society of America. The cache page itself is just fascinating in terms of the geological education it provides around the Marianas Trench and Challenger Deep and the expedition. And there's some videos that you can watch about the expedition itself, which it's like 14 minutes or whatever. I watched it and I was like wide-eyed and just fascinated by what they did and how they made it happen. But the sort of the abnormalities with this earth cache is because we didn't want everybody to say, oh, I found it, here's the answers to, I know what the bottom of the ocean is like. It's like flat and there's not a lot of life down there and it's dark. Like, okay, we all know that. But with this one in particular, because Richard Garriott is the cache owner, we didn't want him to be bombarded with basically fake logs saying, oh, here, I logged it, I found it, notes like, I like this, I don't like this, whatever, because he does read his emails, I believe. What we did was we set up a specific email address where at, I 36,000 feet under the water, the submarine released, it is a titanium anchor and it has a syntactic float. And it has the GC code. So, we've got a tracking code on Mars, which we can talk about. And then we have this.
We haven't gotten to Mars yet. It's like
I know. There's so much to talk about always. There's a titanium plaque with a syntactic float, and it has the geocache name, Challenger Deep, and it has the GC code, and it also has a code word. And for somebody who actually goes down and truly visits Challenger Deep, they can send the code word to this email address. And if they get it right, we will ask them for more proof that they didn't just guess it. And then we will unlock the cache so that they have the ability to log it, officially log it.
That's cool.
So what I can tell you is there are plenty of people who are submitting guesses. I don't know what the code word is. I would say that I aspire to go find the Earth cache, but the thought of being trapped in a very small submarine, well, just I guess by virtue of me using the word trapped, you get how I feel about small spaces for long periods of time. I'll watch from afar. I think it's pretty cool, but I'm not going down in a submarine for 8 hours or 13 hours or whatever it takes. Yeah, no thanks. But it's super cool just to have something like that. Is it accessible for everybody? No, the ISS isn't accessible. But if people read the blog post about it, if they read the cache page, the fact is they're going to learn something about geology and about a special place on Earth. And if that's another way that we can contribute to society and the geocaching ecosystem by providing a fun learning experience, it's worth doing. And there's guys out there like Richard Garrett and Michael Dubno who are going to have these expeditions and have these adventures. And if they want to share that experience with the community, well, that's just what this is about. And it's just another cool opportunity. Okay. What else do you want to talk about?
So we got to talk about Mars. I know we're running
let's talk about Mars. Okay.
We can't leave it up. How did that happen? Did someone come? Did they bring that to you and be like, hey, we want to do this?
They did. I mean, it's not like we're calling around and being like, hey, you got any missions to Mars that we can
any
sort of
hesitation
tag
on
along on?
Nah, we're good. Don't give us any of that free publicity.
So it was, I want to say it was like 4 years ago. We were contacted 4 years ago.
Wow.
By Dr. Francis McCubbin, who's the guy that's, been featured in our blog posts and sort of the media that we've shared around the mission and all that. He approached us. He approached Miss Jen, who is one of our senior business development managers. She is our senior business development manager. She's been with us now for, I think, 13 years, something like that. And he approached her and said, look, this is a long shot. We're working on this. Would you be willing to do something with us? And, I'm sorry, if NASA calls and says, would you be willing to do anything with us, short of maybe test pilot a new prototype rocket, which may be a yes anyway, you generally say yes. And over the course of the last few years, when I meet with Miss Jen, as I do biweekly, at various times, she would say like, hey, this is still, it looks like this is still might happen. It's still a long shot. It's still a long shot. And then about a year ago, she said, it doesn't feel like a long shot anymore. It feels like we might really get to do this. And we said, oh, well, we should probably think about how we share it. And what can we do to amplify this really exciting thing? And then we heard, okay, it's launching. It's going to launch in 2 weeks. And we got our blog posts and Chris did the podcast with Dr. McCubbin. And then we said, okay, hopefully it makes it to Mars. Hopefully everything goes well. And so far, so good. I mean, it's landed. We got the image back from the camera. It was a little blurry, and we're hoping for a more high-res image later in the future. We unlocked the cache page. I don't know how many people have actually discovered it so far, but I think when last I checked, it was in the low tens of thousands. So maybe it's still in the tens of thousands. But how cool is it as a global community? Okay, are any of us really going to get to go see it on Mars? It's unlikely, Elon, if you need somebody to go, like, I'm sure there's plenty of geocachers would be happy to consider a SpaceX flight or something like that. We're a ways away from that. But here we are, the word geocaching is on Mars. Like, how fascinating is that? Like, Did we do it? We didn't really do too much. All we did as a community was be a community and be a cool game that attracted the attention of Signal needs to visit the moon. I'd be happy to take Signal there to the moon. But all we had to do, although the rocket ship for a long journey, I think I would do that more so than go under the sea. But anyway, I agree with you. The prospect of having the word geocaching on the Mars, like, there's very few words that are on Mars in general. So this isn't, it's certainly not something that, oh, hey, geocaching HQ, like, look at what you did. Like, we didn't really do it. We partnered, we cooperated. But this is something for all of us. Like, every geocacher everywhere can now say, like, my hobby is on Mars. And it's just cool. Like, there's I don't have a better word to describe it. It's fantastic. It's amazing. And it's just exciting. It's something to share. It's something to get everybody excited about. And especially during the course of this, global pandemic, when there's been so many things that have been challenging, to have something that's literally out of this world and on the surface of Mars that helps to share our hobby is it's extraordinary. And so we're just happy to be a part of it, just like everybody else is happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
It's remarkable. It's fascinating.
Chad, any more questions? We've taken up so much of his time. Any other questions, Chad, you have?
That pizza's probably cold by now.
I was just thinking of the pizza. That's so funny. Only because I think my stomach grumbled a little bit, but maybe the water.
In anything else new and exciting that you want to give us a hint about?
Oh boy,
that's coming.
Well, one of the things that I'm personally excited about is the new Lackey coin is coming out soon.
Ooh. How big is this? Is it about this big now?
I mean, we haven't grown all that much in the last year, so it's not huge. I'll tell you what, I'm not going to give anything away. I will say that it's a surprise, and I think that people are going to really like it. I know our merch team is really excited about it. I know that the designer that designed it is really excited about it, and I know that every one of us who has seen the images of it are excited to share it with all of you. So that's something that I'm excited about. Trying to think of other things. There's really, there's a bunch of things. What's that?
Yeah. What's that?
Anything new with Where I Go? I saw a question in the chat room earlier asking about
because
Where I Go app for Android since
Where I Go app for Android.
Cashly's been updated. I mean, iOS has been updated.
Yes, Nick Hubbard did the work to update the Where I Go app on iOS, and he did a fantastic job.
Yeah. Well done,
as always. No surprise there. I mean, really, he's a fantastic developer, and it's really been a pleasure to work with him on a number of projects. So I'll say that. We would like to have an Android version of Where I Go that is as good as the iOS version of Where I Go. I will say, to be honest, it's not something that's going to come within the next couple of months, but we do intend to get there, and it just might be a while. So, for what it's worth.
All right.
That's good to know.
Let's end this with a one-word answer from you. Okay, it's either going to be yes way, someday, or no way. All right.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Kind of like how we did the virtuals. Ever bringing back a one-time small stint webcams?
Ooh.
One word.
First, oh goodness, I can never go with one word. You guys have heard me talk.
We're going to be here till 12 o'clock if you don't give me one word.
I won't say. I can't say yes way, and I can't say no way. So what was the middle one?
Someday.
It is absolutely within the realm of possibilities. I will say that.
Someday.
And if I have my way, it would be yes way, but it's not only my decision.
Fair enough. All right. If this is the tease, by only giving one word, you tease, and I'm not going to push you on anything else. You'll just
Fair
tease.
enough. I appreciate it.
world.
Well,
All right.
there you go.
Bring it back virtuals one more time.
I think that'll happen at some point. I don't know when. I don't know if it will happen this year, but I do believe it will happen.
Okay. Bringing back AR caches.
Ooh, AR caches. That's going to happen. Yeah.
Okay.
That's something that I think is exciting on the horizon. Not near term, but yeah, I do believe it's going to happen.
Okay. More Adventure Lab credits coming for people.
Most definitely. Definitely.
Is it ever? I'm gonna follow up on that one. Is it ever gonna get to the point, or do you hope to get to the point where it's like hiding a cache? Everybody can just have an Adventure Lab if they want one. Because right now, obviously, you divvy them out. But is it ever gonna get to that point?
We aspire to it getting to that point. One of the challenges that we would have to work through in doing that is because there's no review. If everybody could create as many, another puppy. If anybody could create as many Adventure Labs as they wanted, we run the risk of devaluing like find counts. Somebody could say, hey, I placed 10 adventures in my backyard, come get 100 finds or come get 50 finds. And because we have a lot of faith in geocachers in general, we feel like we can get there. We may have to adjust how it works, and I'm not really sure how that works. How we're going to do it. That's a problem to solve for a later date. Right now, there are a lot of premium members who have not placed an Adventure Lab. There are some who have placed multiples. I would love to see, at least to begin with, premium members get access to more credits. Because premium members have demonstrated a vested interest in the game. They are supporting the development of the platform. It allows us to make adventures free to download, free to play, because of the support of premium members. And so that sort of paradigm is working well right now. And we also trust that premium members want to add something that's positive and creative to the game, and they're not going to take their one credit and squander it by doing something that's not worthwhile. So that's how we're doing it today. The goal is to make it much easier for people to access credits, build the types of things that they want, but we have some logistics to sort out before we can truly open it up like that.
Fair enough. All right. Back to one word answer. Yes way, someday, no way. Here we go. Gadget Cache icon. Gadget Cache icon.
Oh, I won't say no way. I almost wouldn't say no way to almost anything, but I don't want to give false hope by saying someday. It's not something, a gadget cache icon. There are so many gadget caches out there that fall under other icons. Maybe I don't even know. We don't have an attribute for gadget caches, but maybe that's something that we would do. I don't know. That's not a one-word answer. I can't say someday because I don't really want to give false hope. It's definitely not an absolutely.
Okay.
So there's a shot. There's a chance.
I mean, for 10 years, people have been griping about a challenge cache icon. I know you did a challenge cache attribute, but a challenge cache icon.
I think the way where we ended up with challenge caches is probably where we're going to stay for the foreseeable future.
Okay. Fair enough. Any new cache types in the works?
New cache types, not really new cache types. To do a new cache type isn't just about us adding a cache type and adding the rules and the guidelines around it, but it also, new cache types are not easily backwards compatible. So all of the devices that are out there, all of the APIs, all of the platforms would have to be reconfigured to handle those things. And we would have to find a really good idea that we wanted to embrace for a cache type. So it's not outside the realm of possibilities, but it is far from easy to do a new cache type.
All right. Last one. One
Go
word
ahead.
answer. Getting a Geocaching Day souvenir if you find a cache on December 25th.
Oh,
Geocaching day souvenir.
geocaching.
A Geocaching Day
Oh.
souvenir if you find a cache on December 25th.
So,
December
I would-
25th,
so if you're not
it's
aware,
Geocaching Day.
I don't know.
Scott,
I've
Scott
created
Burks
Geocaching Day.
has an unofficial official geocaching day for getting for
Yeah.
December 25th.
Yeah, there's rules and everything. Yeah.
I would say that is really unlikely. Only because my primary concern would be like there would be plenty of people who would
I
be
know.
triggered by that concept.
I'm just
I
teasing,
know.
Brian.
Yeah, I don't think so. So is it? I don't think I've heard of it before.
It's
Help me
Geocaching
understand.
Day. Geocaching
Geo.
Day is December 25th because and the rules are you only hunt virtuals. It's a numbers day, okay? Because that's the day when you can go when you could hunt all the lamb skirts because guess what? No one's around.
Oh,
You
it's
ever
true.
go out
'Cause
on
everybody's doing
Christmas Day?
Christmas morning and
It's
stuff.
it's a ghost town. So
Chinese food.
that's how you end
and-
the day on Chinese food. You end the day on Chinese
yeah.
food. Yep. What we do is at 4:00 we have a help me, Jess. We have
Event.
a event to see who we can pull away from their families on Christmas Day, right at dinner
Okay.
time. We see who we can pull away, and then we shame them for leaving their families on Christmas Day, and then we have Chinese food. It's fantastic.
So it has elements of almost like Festivus.
Oh, it's the best.
Airing of grievances
Okay.
and whatever else.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's Geocaching Day. It's the best, man. It's
It's
all numbers.
probably-
It's all numbers. You have to listen to Christmas music on the radio. There's rules to this thing. Yeah, you gotta
We
listen
have
to
to wear
Christmas music.
sweaters, Christmas
You have to
sweaters.
wear ugly sweaters. You got to wear ugly sweaters. Yeah,
I think it sounds like a wonderful concept.
It's
I doubt we'll
fantastic.
embrace it at the HQ level, but I might participate.
fantastic. That's
Okay.
fantastic. I want a souvenir if you do it, because nobody catches on Christmas Day. I'm telling you, no one does.
Yeah, it's probably not going to get a souvenir.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Bryan Roth, thank you so much for coming on the show again. Hopefully, it won't be 2 years before we have you back on, but it's always a pleasure to talk to you, sir.
Sounds good. It's a pleasure to talk to you guys also, and thanks to everybody who tuned in. At some point, I'm going to go back and read all the comments and see what you guys think. But it's a pleasure. Thanks so much. I'm going to go have some pizza, and I hope everybody has a great evening and happy caching. And hope to see you all at a mega, a giga, or on the trail somewhere, or in Seattle in whenever we can make that thing happen.
All right, we're going to end this show. Brian, be well and be safe. All right, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
You guys
Okay?
too. Cheers.
All
Happy
right,
caching.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Please join us again every Wednesday night at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central as we stream live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and on our website, geocachingpodcast.com. The archived video versions of our podcast are available on our website or on our YouTube channel, and the audio versions are available on your favorite podcatcher. If you like the show, please head on over to Apple Podcasts and rate, review, and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it, and it really helps the show when you do. If you prefer to watch the show, make sure you click the subscribe or get notified buttons to know exactly when we go live. And hey, if you haven't already, please consider becoming a patron on our show. With tiers starting as low as $3, you get a ton of additional information, extra video, extra audio, only available to our patron members. Please head over to patreon.com today and subscribe. That's patreon.com/The Geocaching Podcast. Thanks once again to our sponsors, Cachly, Logworks, FTF Geocacher Magazine, the Max Suds Body Company, Practical Geocaching, Arted Crafted, and BathTags.com. Please visit our sponsors, and when you make a purchase, you tell them the GCPC sent you. That's all we got this week, so we'll talk to you next week. I screwed that up. That's all we got this week, so we'll see you next week talking geocaching, taking your phone calls. In the meantime, be good, be safe, hug your loved ones, and we will talk to you guys next week. And we're clear. Oh, there we go.
You knew he wasn't going
Oh,
going
I'm a
good.
stupid crap. I know, of course not. Guys, I forgot to do next week. Next week is the April Cache Coffee, guys. So if you're going to join the, this is your final week to get in on the
Pod Blast.
Blast email contest. Last chance, guys. Last chance. No Saturday show this week either, right? No, we got no show this week. No Saturday show this week. Saturday show next week. So
I'm all mixed up.
well, we were supposed to have it the weekend we were away.
Right.
Yeah,
Or was
we
it
were away
postponed?
2 weekends.
No, we weren't.
Yes,
We were only
I
away one.
don't-
Oh, we were away 2
we
weekends.
were
weren't we?
away 2 weekends. I'm all mixed up. Wait, so do we have one this week? Hold on.
No, because
I
no,
think
we
we-
have it when we have the boys. We don't have the boys this weekend.
But we were supposed to. So yes, we do have a show on Saturday the 3rd. It's on my calendar.
You ever? We're supposed to have it when we have
We
the
are-
kids. We don't have the kids.
Yeah,
this
and we
weekend.
were supposed to have the kids this weekend. Oh my goodness. We'll talk about it off air, but yes, there is a show on the 3rd. Am I right, Chad?
I think you're right.
So I have to have a show
I'm
on
not.
Saturday?
I'm
Are you
not.
telling me
I'm
that's
not
what you're telling me?
100% positive, but I believe you.
You realize
right.
we don't have kids, Jesse, and it's gonna be 70 degrees, and you want to have a show. We have to come
I don't.
home.
I'm not saying I want to. I'm saying it's our scheduled week.
Just making you fully aware of that. It's gonna be like 70
Okay.
plus degrees
Well,
in Chicago.
I mean, the
and-
question we're still social distancing though, right? So
No, we're not going to events, but we can catch.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
what time is the show? 8 o'clock, right?
8 o'clock. 8 o'clock.
We can have a show if you want to have a show. Hey, you know, not the end of the world. We'll figure something to talk about. We'll see, guys. We'll let you know on social media if there's a show. Maybe we'll surprise you. So maybe we'll see. All right, but yeah, guys, you want to get in that pod blast? I'm telling you, you want to get in on that pod blast. You go to our website and you could sign up, or go to Facebook and sign up there on it as well. So, all right, guys. Anything else, Chad, Jesse? No.
Nope.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Jeeps.
Oh, it's Jeeps' first
Oh.
birthday
Today is
Chad.
her first birthday. I might have thrown her a little birthday party.
Yeah, she might have thrown her birthday party.
Oh.
Yeah. It's her birthday.
I put a
She's-
little hat on her,
she
little
probably did.
bandana and a
Did-
bow tie.
Yeah.
I
How
made her
quickly
cake.
did she go? Boom.
No,
Oh, as
Chad.
soon as she saw the cake, she forgot all about the hat.
Ah, okay.
Right. That's why people get pictures, because she saw the cake.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. All right, you guys. We'll see you maybe on Saturday. All right. Be well and be
All
safe,
right.
guys. We'll talk to you. Chad, be well. Talk to you.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.